Good evening. Today is March the 3rd, 2010. It is 5:58 p.m. This is a regular board meeting of the Brownsville Navigation District. I hereby call this meeting to order. Reverend, would you lead us in a prayer?
Reverend, could I ask you to use the mic so that everybody in TV land can hear you too?
Okay.
That's a good idea.
As usual, it's an honor to begin this meeting, calling on your name, honoring your name, realizing that we are your stewards, Lord. And so we, as we bring our affairs before you tonight, Father, we pray for your guidance, for your counsel. We thank you for every family that is working and involved in the work here at the port. We thank you for the discussion here tonight. We pray that you would counsel us and guide us, and that you would bless and prosper the work of our hands. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Item number 2, public audience. No one has signed up to speak.
No comment.
Item number 3, receive Port Director's Report. A, Port of Brownsville BDC Recruitment Mission, February 8th through the 12th, 2010.
February was a busy travel month. Just a couple of things. I'll ask Donna to report on the mission to the Northeast, New York, Philadelphia, Connecticut, and New Jersey. Yes. So, Donna?
Gentlemen, I placed a report or itinerary there for each one of you to see. The trip consisted of some media tours and then some actual tours for prospect calls on prospects and also on site selectors. Our trip, unfortunately, was cut short because of the bad weather that we had in New York. We had a blizzard come through, so and some of our visits canceled. But as far as the media tour, the bulk of that revolved around the Brownsville-Matamoros area. Monica Greer, she is the head of the McKeely Association, and she had several live interviews, and they were very well received and did very well. We, the port, went with Jason, and we toured, as I said, a couple of different manufacturing facilities. We toured 2 site selecting companies, and then we toured a company that was a big trucking company that did a lot of retail merchandising for the retail Macy's, TJ Maxx, and things like that. We were very well received. We had a chance to sit down and talk to DCI, the company that does the research and puts these meetings together. I don't think that they had, going into it, a real clear understanding of what the port wanted to get out of our visits. We had a very good discussion with them and their team, and so I think going forward our visits will be much more productive because now they understand what the port is, how it works, what we'd like to see in companies in business coming through the port. So this was our first visit with the BDC, and I think it went very well, but I think it will only get better as time goes on, and they start putting the puzzle pieces together for the port. So instead of marketing the area as a whole, doing a little more digging and putting together companies that would really be beneficial to the port, and we would be beneficial to them.
Any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Next is just quickly report on a recent trip to Washington, D.C. That was myself, Donna, as well as Chairman Masso and Commissioner Reed. As we went up there, we did our delegate visits. We visited with Ed Pastor, who's a member of the Appropriations Committee. We also obviously visited with our Congressman Northeast and staff. We also had some other visits with, we met with Bill Richard, who's the Chief of Staff on Chairman Oberstar, the Chairman of the Transportation Infrastructure. We met with Chris Kelly, who's a member of the staff of Congressman Edwards, who is also a member of the Appropriations and Budget We met with Chairman Don Young, who's a member of the Natural Resources and as well as the Transportation Infrastructure. And these legislative meetings and meeting with the delegation is to continue to push on our port issues. Obviously, the big discussion was the aftermath of the Tiger grants, and we all heard what everyone's take on that issue was. But we do have some specific projects that we're working on, so some of these visits were very key to that. And I don't want to miss that we also visited with Senator Enhoff, who is a member of the Environment and Public Works. And these are the projects, and these are the areas, and well, one on the appropriation side, these are the folks that put money in the budget, and so we work with them to address our needs, especially when it comes down to dredging. And then some of the other projects, there's discussion about the surface, reauthorization of surface transportation, another Water Development Act program, and both of those would retain features that are important to the port as it relates to our infrastructure needs. Also dealing with Chairman Young, member of the Natural Resources Committee, is that we've had that pending issue with the credit on the Laguna Bahia Grande deal, and so he was instrumental in that initially, and so we're starting to work on perhaps redetermining that language and how that credit is applied. So the visit with him was particularly important. And lastly, we had an opportunity to meet with the representative from MARAD, as you know, and you approved, and they approved our memorandum of agreement with MARAD on working on the potential for future capital projects at the Port of Brownsville. We'll continue to work with MARAD. Short sea shipping is real critical to us. Of course, the Sea Bridge project is really important to that whole effort on short sea shipping, and we'll continue to work directly with MARAD on how we can develop the trade route between here and Port Manatee, and certainly have that designated as a marine highway. Again, I think it's important to make these trips. It's important to let them know we're still out there, and that we're not going away until they either give us a whole lot of money and make us go away, or continue to certainly be cognizant of our issues. Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Reed, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that, but I think that we made our rounds, and we certainly keep pressing our issues. So.
I'd just like to say we do have a lot of friends up there, and we do wave the flag. I just wish they actually had the key to the vault for us, but it's good. Like Eddie says, we have to be up there, and we have to let them know we're still interested, and let them know what's going on down here, because we're a long way from D.C., as everybody knows. But trip.
Thank you.
Do they know regarding the stimulus, Eddie, how that or the next phase will come about, or what's going to happen on that?
Well, if you're talking about Tiger 2?
Right.
Well, there was discussion. At this point, they really don't know. I mean, there's $600 million out there. I think there's going to be some kind of circling the wagons as to how they're going to approach the second phase of Tiger. But, we're certainly going to, I see us, certainly following that very closely and participating in that round. I mean, we don't know how they're going to do it at this point, but until we actually learn the process on how they're going to consider the awards under Tiger 2, I think we have to take the position that we're going to do everything we can to go after those dollars, because our needs don't change, and so whatever inroads we made with Tiger 1, we need to take advantage of those.
Item number 4, consideration and action on the following consent agenda items. A, approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting of February 17, 2010, and special board meeting of February 22, 2010. B, approval to authorize payments over $25,000. Item 1, RLB Contracting, DMPA 5B Rehab in the amount of $164,818.80. Item 2, Davis Heavy Haul, DMPA 8 Rehab in the amount of $167,897. Item 3, ISS Marine Services Refund Prepayments in the amount of $49,091.19. Item 4, Vulcan Construction Materials LP, First payment on crushed limestone for roads rehab project in the amount of $44,640.70. Item 5, R.M. Walsdorf, first progress payment for clarifier project in the amount of $27,686.70. Item C, approval of the following leases. Item 1, Bay Bridge, Texas LLC, new lease. Item 2, Bay Bridge, Texas LLC, amendment. Item 3, Marcelino Ochoa, new lease. Item 4, Schaefer Stevedore Company, amendment. Item 5, SMM North America Trade Corp., new lease. Item 6, Esco Marine Inc., new lease. We need to, on item C, table items 4, 5, and 6.
Okay. Do we have any discussion on any of these items? Okay. We got a motion by Commissioner Lopez, seconded by Commissioner Reed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Items carried.
Make a comment on one, even though we tabled it on the C5, just so you'll know. I mean, we've talked somewhat about that. You're familiar with that project. The rate on that we negotiated is different than the land rate that we're doing. Obviously, this is improved area, and so if you look at that on the negotiated rate, it winds up to about $9,000 an acre. It would be for a 5-year term, and so I just want to make you aware of that.
It's on the Marcelino Ochoa, right?
No.
Sims.
North America.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's tabled right now.
Yes, it's
It's
tabled,
tabled for
but
now.
it's because of some signature issues. But as far as the, the particulars of it, I think we've pretty much got everything done. But I just want to make you aware that that rate is different than what would be what we've done with the new leases, only because there is improvements there, and so.
Thank you.
All right.
So, but we'd be happy to set the standard at $9,000 going forward for everything, so.
For all of you out there, get them all going.
That's right.
New truck.
Did we already do a motion?
Yeah, we already
did. Okay. Item number 5, consideration and action on resolution authorizing the port director to sign warranty deed and closing documents in connection with the sale of 2.54 acres of land to the Brownsville Public Utilities Board.
This is action that you've already taken. It just requires a signature of a warranty deed, and you're just simply authorizing me to do so.
All right.
So moved.
All right, we got a motion by Commissioner Lopez, Commissioner Cowan, seconded by Commissioner Lopez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item carries.
Item number 6, consideration and action to adopt an amendment to the Port of Brownsville Tariff Number 6, Item 275, workage charges.
We are negotiating with a new customer to bring in this product, sodium sulfate, and if the rate is set right now at $1.75. However, it's $1.75 because it's very caustic to our facilities. This new customer is planning to bring it directly to their to a lease site and not stay on the dock. So we're recommending that we set a rate for that at $1.37, which is our default rate.
$1.57 or $1.37?
$37.
Okay. All right. Any?
So this wouldn't sit on our dock ever? I mean, it would just
No,
go
it would
directly
go-
into
it's-
their truck and it'll,
The item would say if it goes directly to the lease site, it's $1.37. If it stays on the docks or in your sheds, it's $1.75.
Now, is this just for this specific transaction, or is this going to be from now
This would
on?
be a tariff item.
It's a tariff item for everybody.
Yeah, if you had another similar item where you'd have the material coming in that wouldn't be, but going to their facilities, that would be the as Debbie said, the
This
default rate.
Any customer doing this particular move
this
would
one.
take this
I
rate.
guess that's what I was
Yeah, it's for
getting at.
everybody,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Lopez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Reed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item carries.
Item number 7, consideration and action on assignments, negotiations, easements, subleases, and contracts in general. Item 1, Reyes Marine Industry, Inc., Seakirk, Inc., doing business as La Mana, authority to negotiate. Oh, I'm sorry, well, Dee's not here, so.
Reyes Marine is one of our current lessees. He has a sublease on the site, and he is turning over a portion of one of his sites to the sublease. And we're recommending that we go ahead and proceed with this. It's 120 feet with the dock.
All right.
How much frontage do they have on the
It would be
street?
120 feet on the street and about 107-foot dock.
It's $1 on each end.
This one will be by the square foot. It's a new lease.
Oh, it's a new, so it's going to be by the square foot, okay. Well, that's good news.
All right, do you have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Reed. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lopez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item carries.
Item number 2, Lasagne Enterprises, Inc. to Ocean Port Maintenance Authority to negotiate.
Lasagne Enterprises is selling their improvements to Ocean Port Maintenance, which is their next-door neighbor, and we're ready to proceed on this one.
All right. Any questions? Discussion?
Motion.
Got a motion by Commissioner Lopez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Reed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item carries.
Item number 3, Cumberworth Investment, Inc. to Lahoma Pedersen DBA Clinic at the Port sublease.
This site is this one here on the corner, and it's currently under sublease to one doctor. He has left the practice, and we've got a new doctor in, and it's just a change of the administration. It'll be the same purpose.
All right. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Lopez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Aramula. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item carries.
Item number 8, consider an action to authorize the extension of the agreement for security services at the Port of Brownsville Fishing Harbor between the district and American Surveillance Company, Inc. for 1 year.
We entered into this contract in 2007. It was a contract for 2 years with 3 one-year extensions, as long as there's no increase, and they have agreed to extend it another year at no increase, and we think that's a very good deal for the port, so we are recommending that we extend it for 1 more year, and we will still have 1 more.
No changes, same as the base rate from
Same rate as
2007.
we did in 2007.
They have all the insurances. and
Yes, everything's, yeah. If you recall, we had this on the agenda for bidding, but then we were informed by the current vendor that they would hold the price, so we came back, and now we're presented to you for formal consideration.
Sounds good.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion by Commissioner Aramula, second by Commissioner Reed.
Third by
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item carries.
Item number 9, consideration and action to approve change order number 1 to the wastewater treatment facility rehabilitation to existing clarifier project at the Turning Basin wastewater treatment facility.
Mr. Chairman, Board Commissioners, excuse me, last time I was here, I was a little bit under the weather, but it was a different deal. So don't let anybody say the support is getting to me, because it isn't. I love working here. It's a different board.
Okay, this hasn't changed, it's the same that's in the,
It's the same.
okay.
This item, this is on the clarifier. We had a $15,000 betterment fund. The idea for that betterment fund was to repair or refurbish whatever was there after we drained it. And if you may remember some of the pictures I showed you last week, the center drum was in horrible shape. The structure that supported the lake was in horrible shape. The contractor priced the repairs at a little bit over the $15,000, but he was willing to do the repairs at $15,000. But the concern was that if we sandblasted that was so corroded, we would have wound up with very thin material.
Yeah.
So the contractor proposed to replace it with new galvanized steel for the center drum and the rake structure and the rods, the steel rods and support and everything, for $25,000. When he suggested that to us in our progress meeting, we thought it was a good idea because it would extend the life of the clarifier beyond what we actually were shooting for. And we discussed it with our consultant. He recommended in favor of it. We discussed it with Mr. Campiano, and he basically was convinced that was the way to go. And then we presented it to staff meeting, and directors in general were of the consensus that this was the right way to go. So we're presenting it to you now, asking you to approve this increase in the betterment fund from $15,000 to $25,000. So this change order actually represents a $10,000 increase from the original 15,000 better meter.
It's a brand-new tank.
Question I
It's not a brand new, see, the scum baffle, which is a circular weir that goes around, is gonna be new.
Okay.
The beach scum, which is the other weir that's along the edges, is gonna be new. That one, I think, is the one that's gonna be stainless. But the center drum was gonna be repaired. Well, this will give us a new center drum and a new rake structure. So almost all the moving parts in the clarifier are not gonna be new.
How long will it set, by doing this, set the project back?
Well, set it back?
Yeah.
I don't think we have any setback at this point, because they would be sandblasting right now.
Yeah.
If we authorize it today, if anything, we might have lost a day or two, so it's really
that's
not a big
good.
deal. Right now, we have the project authorized, the ponds are authorized for us to continue to use them till April 25th. I anticipate that we're going to be finishing the work a couple of weeks before that, and April 25th is actually a completion date for the contract, which is, I think, well, I don't have it on that, but it is, I have it on the change order form that Mr. Masso needs to sign.
Do you expect any more claims on the betterment fund? Because this is
No.
going to use it up.
Yes. Yeah, no, there's no other claims, because now we've seen everything that's inside and we know what needs to be done, so there's not going to be any other changes.
All right.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Reed, seconded by Commissioner Lopez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item carries.
Item number 10, consideration and action to approve change order number 1 to the Brownsville Navigation District Internal Road Project, amending contract quantities on various items.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, for this is actually for the internal roads project. What this does is basically saves the contract price an amount of $58,963.52. This is slightly different than the one that was in your agenda item. Excuse me. And to go into quick detail of what this is, on the south side there's several storm sewer pipes right in front of some of our lessees on Ostos Road that are crossed by rail, and the contract called for those to be bored. First of all, they needed to remove them, which I still had a hard time figuring out how they were going to do that without really creating a big situation. And the other issue was that they were going to have to bore. In talking to BRG was very cooperative in agreeing to remove the rail so that we could go ahead and remove the pipe, place it properly, compact everything in proper lifts, and then their rail would be actually on better solid ground. Well, by doing that, the bid item for the boring was $338.68 per foot. Placing the pipe was only $56.75 per foot, so just that change saved us about $90,000. However, there was an error in the in the counting of the quantities for the inlets. The inlets in the project, for some reason, the bid tabulation only accounted for 2 inlets, and the plans actually showed 16. And things looked like we were actually going to need an extra 2. So what I did is no. In addition to those 16, there were 2 more that were going to be needed, that could be needed. So what I'm doing right now is providing for the 18 by increasing the quantity by 16.
Oh.
Okay? Kind of crazy, but you know what I'm saying. So basically, the 16 new inlets at the $1,900 adds $31,000, which reduces our savings from the 90 to the 59. And so, obviously, we recommend that this change order be executed a little bit of savings. And so.
And you're going to have to do those crossings anyway, so rather than bore them, let's just do it this way and save
In
that.
fact, one of the rail crossings is going to be removed temporarily until someone requests it, because we don't have a lessee right now that uses it.
It's not
The
an
other one
active
is
line.
used, so the work is going to have to be done over the weekend, where it's removed when no one is using it, and then it's going to be placed back by the time they need it in the beginning of the week. So that'll be very strictly coordinated with BRG and with the contractor to make sure that that gets done, so that the minimal disruption, and you never know, but the minimal disruption will be effective on our lessees.
I just have a question. I just want to know how we could be putting a bid out for 2 inlets when we needed 18. I mean, with the drawings had to go through a process and, you know, for the bid specs and everything else, and then the drawings show that, and then the bid doesn't call for it. I mean, I don't understand that.
Neither do I. Basically, well, what happened on this situation is that there was, you know, the state has these categories, and they have all kinds of different items. And you know, for some reason, this one kind of slipped through the cracks. If you look at the bid list, the bid items list, it's like about 60 or 70 bid items. And the plans went through several iterations. By the time I actually came into the port, the plans had already been about 90% complete, and the process had been going on for 2 years. So, you know, I did my best in trying to look at the plans. I never got to look at the bid tabulation because that aspect of it was handled directly through the state, because the state handled all our construction phase and the bidding and all that. So the state was the one that was reviewing these things, and I mean, I'm not going to put it on the state either because we know where it lies, but the fact is we fortunately have the funding to make the adjustment, but...
I just don't want that every time we have a project, we have to have 2 change orders. I just think that we don't need to, that's not a good precedent to be set.
Well, I'll tell you this.
I'm just, you don't need to defend it, I'm just making a statement.
No, I'm not going to...
Project of this size, though, on this, you know, the little one is one thing, but this one here probably, I'm sure we may even see another 1 or 2 before it's
Oh, I
over.
mean, we are. That's what I was going to say. A project of this type where you're not in virgin soil, where you're surrounded by existing utilities, stuff is bound to come up.
And there's
no
stuff
matter
out
what.
there that we don't know that's out there.
And some of it may benefit us, and some of it may not. This one in particular, the balance is in our favor. But, I mean, I guarantee you, I shouldn't say that.
Be careful with that.
Be prepared. No, another one. Be prepared, or how did, you know, Gibbs always does that, right? So, you know, be prepared, because others may come up. Hopefully, most of them will be in our favor. Believe me, I'll do my best to make sure that whatever happens, we wind up saving. Like in this case, you know, I figured out a way to try to get it to save and everybody that had to.
And when they dig across the roads, instead of boring, it's not going to shut the road down. Somebody's going to have access to.
We're doing that half and half always. We're always leaving. That was one of the conditions that we established in the pre-construction conference.
Keep it flowing.
That there was always going to be flow.
Well, I just asking. I know it's very obvious, but at the same time, I'm still asking the question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Chavez, I noticed, and I don't mean to get off to the other side, but I noticed that you guys were tearing up the cement where Ostos and the Harbor Master Road is.
Yes,
Where it meets. You guys are going to put cement again, right there?
Well, the plan, the design actually calls for it to be replaced with hot mix.
That's not going to work. I give it 6 months, and we're going to be repairing it again. That one I guarantee you myself. I do. What happens is you need to relax
that. Direct me to adjust that, but that is actually going to cost. If we change it to concrete, that
we're going to be repairing it every 6 months, and that I guarantee you, because you have 40-ton trucks that are crossing there all the time.
It's a lot of weight.
That's where all those.
I should have had the consultant here tonight, actually.
Yeah, that
But
one and where the scale is at, and the one back here on
Mineral Road.
Mineral Road.
Well, see, I brought those issues early on. I brought those issues again now, and basically the response by the consultant was that the way that the project was designed and the material that they're using, because in some areas they're using material that is thinner than I would like to see. Now the problem is that I'm used to seeing streets with type D hot mix, which is the ones that are used at the city where they use 2 inches. The hot mix design, and this is what I'm told by the consultant, the hot mix design that is being used for this is a special design by TxDOT that is very, very resistant. Now, I will also add this. It's the same type of hot mix that is on Ostos Road at 1.5 inches, and Ostos Road has held up wonderfully. And
Yeah, but
it's
you
actually
go
the one that
straight.
suffers
Yeah,
the
but
most.
You're not turning. That's
Oh, yeah,
the thing.
and turning and stopping.
Yeah,
Now, on that area, we're going to have 3 inches minimum of hot mix.
I would like to reiterate Commissioner Lopez's, that is, you know, if you notice, the state of Texas and TxDOT is putting in cement at
over there in
802
Minnesota. Yeah,
and
and we're taking it off
Minnesota
over
for
here.
the same reason. They're making it all in concrete,
Yeah, we are.
and there's a reason for that.
Okay,
So-
now, here's another issue, and this is very important. The traffic counts that were done from which the design, the thicknesses for the different streets were done, indicated that the heavier traffic was going along Hostos and out on Milo Road. So, you know, that obviously concerns me because I see trucks on Windhouse. So we may be put in a situation of restricting the flow of traffic a certain way that will not hurt our roads that are not prepared for that.
And you have to keep in mind, if a truck comes into the port, that doesn't mean that it's going to leave the port. It may stay here to load 10 or 20 trailers.
Yeah.
But it's going to be moving back and forth. It doesn't mean that it's only just one truck came into the port.
Right.
So those things we have
they
to
still
look
move
at.
around.
Yeah, they're inside.
What's the warranty?
Well, the theoretical warranty on every project of this type is 1 year.
Could you bring us, in light of what Commissioner Lopez is saying, just give us an estimate of what it would take to cement that versus just so the
I
Commissioner?
haven't done that already. If I was to ballpark it, we're probably looking about between $70,000 and $100,000 of addition.
Well, but
For just that one spot,
Probably
or?
just for that one spot.
And if we
There's
did,
3 other spots on files that have existing concrete. And we removed the concrete on 2 of them and found that there was concrete below. Below
It's
that.
even stronger.
So what we are doing is we're using the concrete below. We're not going to remove the lower concrete. We're going to build it up with limestone. And instead of having the thickness that was specified, we're going to have a little bit more because it's below the grade that we would have had the subgrade at to come up from there. So in a way that might be of benefit there. But I mean, I can prepare an exact estimate and see if we can address that.
Why don't you do that for all the,
There's other things that
I'm not trying to make it more expensive, it's just it's going to cost.
why don't you do that for all the areas that the commissioner has pointed out?
Yes.
And that way, I mean, if it's gonna cause problems in the future, I
proactive and do
mean,
it
might
the
as
right
well, I mean, take care of that now, I mean,
Well, I'll tell you another issue that I had of concern, and again, the same explanation was given to me. On Faust Road, the widened areas, the design is for the limestone to come up and match the grade of the existing asphalt, and then it's gonna have a 1-inch mat across, which is only gonna give us a 1.5-inch mat on the new portion. Well, the contractor had misread the plans and had already prepared it to put first a 1.5-inch, and then they were gonna put another, so we would have a total of 3. And then my first thought was, hey, let's leave it like that. And I put the numbers to it. That one I did put the numbers to it, and it was on Faust Road, we would have had an additional expense of $103,000. And I said, I'm not going to bring this to the board. Maybe I should have.
well, why
But
don't,
my first reaction was, man, I'm not going to go.
we have our competitive, we need to keep in mind that you see, we have an overload corridor, and so we have trucks that are over the normal load limits. So consequently, we need, and it's much cheaper to do it when we're going in than it is to go back and tear it up and fix it up, and then we're just constantly going on and on. So maybe you, being the great engineer that you are, you can come back and give us an idea, okay, here's the main areas. Maybe Commissioner Lopez could give you point out some areas where we need concrete or more asphalt or whatever, where you have your concerns, and then discuss with him, because he's a trucker and he knows. Get in July when that asphalt is hot, is hot and it
Like I
doesn't.
said, this is a different type of asphalt, and it does behave differently. Once he told me that, and I went back on Oslo looks great. There's very little base failures, and I mean, there's some potholes and stuff, but if you consider the traffic that goes through there, Oslo looks really good.
Is that what they put on the overweight corridor? That same type of asphalt?
On 48. On portions of 48, they did concrete because they're bridging over that.
That I understand, but on the rest of it?
Yeah, that's supposed to be the same design that they're using over there, same hot mix. It's a different type of hot mix with different grading of the aggregate.
I just want you to know that the truck pivots on 6 inches, and so all the weight is on 6 inches, and it's turning like that. So that's gonna screw up the.
I'll take a look.
So,
And the concrete was good, the one they were taking off right now.
Well,
It even hurt me when they were doing it right now.
there's nothing wrong with the concrete, so why couldn't they just leave the concrete there?
that's a consideration. That was a judgment called by the engineer, really, and we accepted his his decision. That's.
But the whole reconstruction of the roads, they took into consideration the overweight of the
Yes,
trucks,
well,
right?
He showed me all the traffic counts and all the loading calculations and everything, and they match what he actually designed as far as the thicknesses.
So I think his survey is like this, and the street is like that, and I don't think they took into consideration. I don't
Pivoting.
The pivoting. Because he took it from the gate to where it finishes, and it goes straight. It doesn't.
Pivoting is what killed.
No, well, I mean.
So,
I'm just letting you.
You have a good point.
I would really like for you to be able to get just some assessment from our
Yeah,
commissioner
we'll
on
get that
that.
before the end of the week, and you know, I'll
So he
get
can
some
give you,
information.
you go over those key areas, just where that pivoting's gonna happen, so once we build, spend all this money to put this in there, we don't have to go back and do it again.
Take Mr. Lopez before you break any more concrete.
That's right.
There you go.
All right.
Sorry for
What
taking
you
your
said
time.
actually gives me a lot more flexibility with my decision.
Also, if they're breaking any more concrete, there's nothing wrong with it, you could also say the commission doesn't want you to break the concrete.
Eligible for the-
All right. Do we have a motion?
So moved, sir.
We have a motion by Commissioner Arambula. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Reed. All those in favor?
Aye.
The item carries.
Item number 11, adjourn into executive session.
Is there anything for discussion? None?
Very good.
Okay.
Okay, item number 12, possible action on matters or items discussed in executive session. None. Item 13, public comments.
Anybody?
A couple, if I may. Just one is to remind you that there's a christening tomorrow at Amphils at 11 on the vessels. Yes, it is tomorrow. And then the other thing, just very quickly report, is that yesterday we had a training exercise out here with TSA. It was also joined by other law enforcement agencies. I know we had representatives of the Sheriff's Office, DPS, Brownsville PD with their bomb squad. We had air marshals, FBI, Customs and Border Protection, immigration, and so this is something that you would expect with an elevated MARSEC levels, and we will see that periodically, but overall, it probably did cause a little bit of backing up traffic for a couple hours, but once about 6 o'clock it all cleared. We probably can expect to see more kinds of activities like that in the future. I thought I would get quite a few calls, and then perhaps even you all getting quite a few calls, but I really haven't heard a peep from anyone. And from the debriefing that George attended with all of the players, including BRG, they were very pleased, and the outcome was very favorable. So it also points out to a lot of these agencies that when we have a disaster and emergency out here, they've never been out here, and so they understand how it works, and they understand how the port environment works. And so if there is a need to deploy, and God forbid that there's going to be an incident out here, this was geared toward terrorism and terrorism prevention, at least that the agencies that would respond already know what's out here, what it looks like, and would have a much better plan on how to approach the situation. So I just kind of wanted to let you all know that.
I appreciate you calling, because when I passed the fishing harbor in 48, I hadn't known I'd been calling.
What's going on?
Yeah, there was a lot of you.
Actually, it was TSA. Spearheaded out of San Antonio, the Air Marshals Division, but they coordinate that with Chief Davito, and I think we got a lot of compliments out of that. It was good to see that kind of joint response, and again, the compliments. I mean, we walked into a meeting, we thought it was going to be 5 or 6 people, and holy cow, it's been 85. So there was a lot of interest from supporting the effort from other law enforcement agencies, and again, I think George's comments on the debriefing was they were all very, very pleased, and it worked well. So just wanted to let you all know about that.
That's very good. All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? All right. Hereby adjourned.
Chairman, I'd like something. What about these, we turn them in today, when do we turn?